Hello folks, welcome to the in-stock lease deals of the month for December 2024. There are some amazing deals in here from start to finish. It's a great time to get yourself into an electric car. Obviously, end of the year, manufacturers are dropping their prices a bit generally. But I think this year we've seen some really good prices all year. I think a lot of manufacturers didn't want to fall into that same trap as last year where December comes. They've got a huge shortfall to make up and they absolutely drop their trousers all at once. But we've still got some brilliant prices. So let's crack on. Link to Lease Loco in the video description. Remember, if you just go to their website and you don't use my link, they're getting the benefit of me making this video without giving me anything for it. So please take the trouble to use the link. It really does make a big difference to me. Let's crack on. Nissan Leaf, 110 kilowatt end connector, 39 kilowatt hour. We've seen this a million times before. Currently 190 quid a month with an upfront payment of £572. That looks like phenomenal value at the moment. It really is very cheap motoring. Even if that range is not good enough for it to be your sort of number one car in the household, it's certainly a very good second car at that kind of price. If you've got a bit more budget, look at this Astra, 252 quid a month with 758 up front, 259 miles of range, 105 miles an hour, 156 brake horsepower, insurance group 26 and 352 litres of boot space. 0 to 62 in 9.2 seconds. 455 has been the average on this. Its lowest point is right now, its highest point was £924 a month for an Astra. This one's GS specs, very good spec level. If you were to get this same car in petrol mode at the moment, it would cost you £184 a month more than this electric one. So keep that in mind. It's a great price right now. $758 up front, $252 a month, link in the video description. Now, if you need a bit more boot space, then you've also got the Sports Tourer as an option. This one's in Ultimate Edition. The GS is actually £10.89 a month less than this one, but the Ultimate Edition gives you pretty much everything. Hence the name Ultimate, I guess. 254 miles of range, 156 horsepower, 516 litres of boot space in this one. 845 up front and 281 a month. Average on it's been 460. At its peak, 752. And this, of course, is the lowest price we've seen it at 281 a month. And the lowest price we've seen on this car as well, the EC4. This is the EC4 Max. EC4 has been around for a while, and previously I think the best price we saw on it sort of regularly was about 900 up front and 300 a month. Currently 765 up front and 255 a month, which doesn't look too bad. 219 miles of range, 380 litres of boot space, 136 horsepower, insurance group 22 seconds to 62 in this one. 558 on average, 707 at its peak, 250 is the lowest point. You can see we had a period here in August where it was like 282 a month, then it went down to 271 a month, but just a couple of weeks ago this was 600 quid a month. I can't imagine they get rid of any of them at that price. But at this sort of price, it makes a bit of sense, doesn't it? 765 up front and 255 a month. Peugeot E2008, that's currently 291 a month with 874 up front. That's the lowest price we've seen on the 2008. I'm not going to go through all the numbers on that because we've seen it so many times before. But again, lowest price we've seen it. Then we've got the Kona Electric. This really is a brilliant car. I always say it's the thinking man's EV, really, because in terms of value for money versus range versus space, it sort of ticks every box. 900 quid up front and 301 a month, 319 miles of range, 218 brake horsepower, 466 litres of boot space, and insurance group 31. 0 to 62 in 7.8 seconds. Average on it's been 369 a month. At its peak, it was 506. It has been a tenner a month less than this in the past, but a couple of weeks ago, it was 343 quid a month. And you can see for a lot of the year, it was sort of between 350 and 400 a month. So this looks quite decent to me. 301 a month with 904 up front. And the Kona Electric is a brilliant car. Really is a very good car. Now, if you're thinking about getting yourself into a lease car, you should definitely be thinking about gap insurance. You might also want to consider something like scratch and dent cover or alloy wheel cover. And the sponsors of today's video are ALA Insurance. If you use the code GYM10, you can get 10% off just about any product on their website. And at the moment, they've got a special little festive offer. So if you've got perhaps a slightly older car or a car that's coming to the end of its warranty period, ALA do a really good insured warranty product. A lot of warranties are not insured. I did a separate video about that, but it's quite alarming, really. But the ALA one is backed up by an insurance company. And they're doing 0% finance on that warranty. So something to consider if you've got a used car at home or a slightly older car that's coming out of its warranty period. Also, on the gap insurance front now, you can add breakdown as like an add-on to it. Their customer service people on the phone are exactly that. They're not on commission to get sales. They're there to give you advice and help you through your journey. Remember, use the code GYM10 and you'll get 10% off site-wide. Just go to ala.co.uk. Okay, the deals are back on the Nissan Ariya, and this is a fantastic car. 995 up front and 331 a month, but there's a little caveat to this. The broker that's offering this deal previously was offering some great deals on the Ariya, and when you called up, they said the paint's not available, it's 50 quid a month more or 40 quid a month more, something like that. That's all well and good. That happens sometimes, but they advertised that before for about 3 months on the trot, and I think that's a bit fishy. So bear that in mind. That could happen. You might get through to them. You might make your inquiry using my link, of course, and find that actually it's more expensive than this. Luckily, I haven't heard of too many of those cases where that's happening sort of commonplace. But keep it in mind. 995 up front, 331 a month, 329 miles of range, 242 brake horsepower, insurance group 34, 408 litres of boot space, and 0-62 in 7.6. This one's got 22 kilowatt hour charging capability. So if you're in a more modern property with a 3-phase supply, you might have a 22 kilowatt wall box at home. It's also got the Sky Pack. Really nicely spec'd car. I think the Ariya is absolutely brilliant. I think it's a real sort of unsung hero. I really enjoyed my time with that, and I really didn't expect to. To me, it stands sort of head and shoulders above quite a lot of the rest of the Nissan range at the moment. VW ID.5 Max Pro, 377 a month with 1131 up front, 322 miles of range, 549 litres of boot space, insurance group 29, 174 horsepower, and 0-62 in 10.4. 461 a month on average. 377.30 it is at the moment. That's the lowest price we've seen, but this only goes back to August. I guess it had some sort of mild tickle of a facelift in August. 1131 up front, 377 a month. The spicy little Volvo EX30 is still around. 1142 up front and 380 a month. Don't forget, this one's got a 0-62 time of 3.6 seconds. 318 litres of boot space, insurance group 40, 428 brake horsepower, 279 miles of range. 584 has been the average on that. This is the lowest price we've seen at 380, with 1142 up front. At its peak, it was 660. Don't forget, all these cars are in stock, and all these are live at the moment as I'm recording this video. Some of these deals will go, and they'll go quite quickly. So my advice to you is, if you're interested in any of these, make your inquiry as soon as possible, because it gets you on the list. And please do it by using my link. Right, the VW ID Buzz. This is an interesting one, because I did a separate video about this a couple of days ago, because the deal's phenomenal at the moment. 1158 up front and 386 a month. And a couple of people came on to me and said, like, well, that's not actually very good, because they've just done not even a facelift, but a little bit of an update on this, and it's got a slightly bigger battery and a couple of mild changes and stuff. And I was like, okay, but let's have a look at the alternative, shall we? So instead of going for the in-stock one, let's factory order, so you get a brand new one. And it's 547 quid a month more. So if those things are important to you, by all means, go ahead and factory order one at £933 a month with 2,800 up front. If they're not, maybe get one of these stock ones that's 1158 up front and 386 a month. I think I know which one I'd do. It was actually a little bit cheaper the other day. It was 365 a month the other day. Currently 386. Average on it's been 551, and it was this time last year, actually just before this. I think it was maybe the first or second week in December that we had the really silly prices on it last year. But prior to that, it'd been over £800 a month, like forever. I don't think it had ever really gone under that. So all year this has been sort of heavily discounted. I mean, you've been able to get one for 550, 600 quid a month. So it's always looked okay. But right now it's looking really good again. 386 a month with 1158 up front. 1121 litres of boot space, insurance group 33, 204 brake horsepower, 251 miles of range, and 0-62 in 10.2 seconds. Folks, just a very quick reminder to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Thanks. Ford Explorer Select at £405 a month with 1,215 up front, 450 litres of boot space, 374 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, insurance group 28, and 0-62 in 6.4 seconds, 473 on average, 515 at its peak. It's been £7 a month less than it is right now. It's 405 a month with 1,215 up front. ID7, I won't dwell on this one, but it's starting to go up again. These were 405 a month, something like that, 402 a month. They've gone up now to 417, but it still looks like brilliant value, I think, even at that price. So there you go. That tells the tale. At its peak, it was 637. Yeah, lowest point 403, which we saw for an extended period of time. It was that for about 2 months. I think it's still decent value at 417. It's a massive car with loads of range, and you can't go wrong with it. Okay, then we've got the Cupra Tavascan. Someone called this the Cupra Gaviscon to me the other day, and I quite like that, so I might have to steal it. 1,300 up front and 428 a month, 353 miles of range, 286 brake horsepower, insurance group 34, and 540 litres of boot space, 6.8 seconds to 62. 428 a month with 1284 up front. We've seen it for £3 a month less than it is right now, but we've also seen it for £550 a month more than it is right now. 974 at its peak, currently 428. Here's a very, very tasty car that I like a lot. It's the BMW i4 Gran Coupe eDrive 40 M Sport. 1,795 up front and 598 a month, 470 litres of boot space, insurance group 38, 340 brake horsepower, 358 miles of range, and 0-62 in 5.6 seconds. 790 a month on average, 933 at its peak, and currently it's 598 with 1795 up front. That really is a good price on this. It was 774 in November. It was 933 in October. Back in June, it was over 900 quid a month. Currently 598 a month with 1795 up front. It's a 3-year deal on 10,000 miles a year. And that is a beautiful car, I think. I know not everyone loves new BMWs, but I think it's a lovely thing. It's great to drive as well. Really great to drive. Then we've got the BMW iX xDrive 40M Sport, 263 miles of range, 500 litres of boot space, 326 brake horsepower, insurance group 47, and 6.1 seconds to 62. Average on that one's been 948. We've seen it a fair bit lower than this. It was about 50, 60 quid lower than this, I think. £618 a month, to be precise. But it was also 1,200 quid a month. It's currently 675 with £2,000 up front. Tesla still have deals on the Model Y, by the way, brilliant deals on the Model Y. So if you're interested in one of those, there are loads of Tesla referral codes in the video description. But there we go, folks. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Massive, massive thanks to everyone that's watched these videos throughout the year. It's been actually a brilliant year for my channel. I've seen lots of growth. I'm getting a lot more views than I used to. It's still not where it needs to be, really, but we're getting there, folks. And again, But that's all thanks to you guys that watch these videos, and especially to the ones that are still watching at this point in the video, because there aren't too many people that watch the videos without skipping through. That's a massive difference maker. The longer you stay on the videos, the more that the algorithm likes me and pushes the rest of the videos up a bit. So for those of you still listening to this waffle, thank you very, very much. I hope you all have a great Christmas, and I'll see you on the next one.